All right, we're back to working on the old Ford 4040 diesel. Still having it's got a problem with the amp draw, and trying to kind of figure it out. I've kind of narrowed it down to what the problem is, so I'm gonna try to show y'all if it'll cooperate a little bit for me. But the starter solenoid seems to be what the problem is, so we'll walk over here and take a look at it, and I'll show y'all what I'm talking about. So a quick and simple way to tell that you've got a problem with your battery running down, with an amp draw, with the machine or vehicle or whatever it is turned off. I don't even have the keys in it right now, so we know it's not turned on, but what you can see is that my test light is lit up, and it shouldn't be, especially on a piece of equipment. Your vehicle will have a small draw sometimes for the radio, the clock memory, and things like that, but it should be very small. If you use a test light with a regular bulb, not an LED, you can kind of tell it'll get brighter or dimmer as you turn things on or off. And but anyway, kind of what I've found on this one is the starter solenoid seems to be bad, because what it's doing is I can spin this stud a little bit and kind of change how the test light brightens or dims. And I've already checked a few other things and can't seem to find any other problems. So I've ruled out the glow plug solenoid, that wasn't a problem. And the headlights weren't a problem. And the key switch. So I've kind of checked all that stuff just to be sure, but this right here seems to be the issue. So I'm gonna put a wrench on this and try to spin it a little bit. Hopefully it will kind of show up what I'm talking about. Get it where you can kind of see both. Now, hopefully you can see that it dimmed down a lot right there. And that's not the connection, because the connection's tight. It's spinning the stud that's going into the solenoid, and something in there is shorting out a little bit. So it's kind of hard to show it. Okay, you can see it pretty much went off right there. Come back up, it's coming back on bright. So you can disconnect the other side of the solenoid. As long as you keep it grounded, it continues to act that way. So the problem is the starter solenoid, and it still works, but I also probably got some water in it, because I did pressure wash it some a while back, and so I just need to get a starter solenoid for it, and that will fix our amp draw problem and keep my battery from running down overnight. So I will try to update when I get my parts and cables, and try to put all that on and verify that we don't have an amp draw anymore, and we'll move on to whatever the next project is with this thing. Okay, so it's been a little while since I made the first part of this video, but here's my new starter solenoid, and I got a new hot cable. Mine is loose at the terminal, and so this was pretty cheap, and well, it was $10. It's supposed to be made in USA. They had both of these in stock, and so what I'm going to do for now is swap this and this. The long hot cable from the solenoid to the battery and the ground cable I would like to replace, but I may end up doing that at a later date. I think I've probably got some cable that I can make my own cables out of and be quite a bit cheaper than just buying new cables. So I do think they probably could stand replaced. It does make a difference cranking if everything's, if the cables are good and the terminals are clean. So anyway, we'll get this installed. We'll make sure we got rid of our voltage, our amp draw, and I've got the battery on charge because it's kind of weak, and then hopefully it'll start and we won't have any more amp draw. So here's our new solenoid mounted. I did go ahead and shine this terminal up the best I could with a wire wheel on a drill, and probably will go ahead and do that for the starter as well. I'll just go ahead and take that loose and clean it up. You can tell it's pretty crusty looking, so that'll have to help us out a little bit. I will get back with you when it's all together. So here's a quick before of the cable on the starter motor. It does have some shiny there on the inside. I'm gonna go ahead and clean it up better. And I'm also gonna clean this stud and nut here. And then I'll put this back together. Okay, everything is cleaned. I also cleaned the ground, which is on the other side, and wired back up. And I've got my test light hooked back onto the battery here, and so I shouldn't get any glow when I do this. And you can hopefully see now it's not burning at all. Now when I turn the key on, it should light up because it's passing power through. So there's that. But with the key off, we don't have any glow, which means we don't have any more amp draw. So I should be able to hook this up now and not have to worry about my battery running down anymore. It should also crank a little better, hopefully. I do still need to replace the big hot and the big ground cables, but I'll have to do that at a later date. So my main focus was just getting this amp draw fixed, and hopefully somebody learned a little something from it. It's pretty simple. And so anyway, thanks for watching, and we'll catch y'all next time.